Welcome to the Meher Baba program. I'm your host, Sam Irvin, and with me today is a very special guest, Bhau Kalchuri. Bhau comes from Ahmednagar, India, and for 50 years he's been a close disciple of Avatar Meher Baba. And Bhau is with us today to share his experiences, stories from his life with Baba. And before we do that, I'd just like to share a little bit of information about this extraordinary man, because he is extraordinary. Bhau has a bachelor's degree in agricultural science, a master's degree in public administration. He also has a law degree. He's a practicing attorney. He is chairman of the Avatar Meher Baba Perpetual Public Charitable Trust in Ahmednagar, India. So he has many responsibilities today. After 50 years of actively following the person that many people consider to be God in human form, Avatar Meher Baba. He's also written a number of books about his experiences and about Meher Baba and his message. He's written a number of books of spiritual poetry. He's written a 20-volume biography called Lord Meher, a fascinating account, detailed account of Meher Baba's life. Another book called Avatar of the Age, Meher Baba Manifesting. Another book called The Nothing and the Everything, and a very special book about his years as the night watchman for Meher Baba called While the World Slept. So we're very pleased, Bhau, to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask you, I think the question that arises when somebody thinks about Meher Baba and his claim that he's God in human form, in your words, to Bhau Kalchuri, who is Meher Baba?
For me, he is my beloved, he is God, and he is everything. Because I was with him and I have experienced. So it is not that I read books and because of that I accepted him. When I accepted him, I did not know even his name. I did not know anything about him. So it is just my experience. My experience means he gave me that experience that I could recognize him, and not only recognized him, but also followed him. I would be always with him.
So you feel that Meher Baba drew you to him?
Yes, of course.
So how did that happen? How did you first find out about him, learn about him,
I was in college, and of course I was not interested in spirituality. And I was interested in my studies. I was doing my law. I was also doing chemistry and public administration. I was very, very busy. And all of a sudden a change took place. Change means Baba was to go to Nagpur, where I was in the university, and I did not know anything about it. So when he went there, I read in newspaper. And when I read in newspaper, I said, I must go and see him. But when I went there, so thousands of people had come, and he would not give messages or discourses. He would just wash the feet of 7 poor, bow down to them, and of course he would give them present. And then afterwards his program would begin, and what would be the program? Everyone would come in a queue, and just he would give one banana. And that was the thing. So at that time, he had come to America in 1952. And America, he met with an accident, severe accident. And after that, he went to India. And he started mass darshan program. Before that, of course, he would go from place to place, and he would do poor program. He would collect poor people, and he would wash their feet, bow down to them and give them present. Throughout his life he did this. And then lepers. And the most important was just God intoxicated. They look like mad, but they are not mad. So he would just be with them, or some he would bring to his ashram and would serve them. And of course, there were others. Not only Baba would not spare anyone, rich, poor, middle class. So all types of people, but nobody would know who he was. And his identity would never be disclosed. It would be said that he is a businessman from Bombay or some other place. So identity would, otherwise they would not allow him to bow down. And without bowing down, washing their feet, bowing down.
So he, Meher Baba, would bow down
Yes.
to the people that he was
Yes.
washing their feet and giving them presents.
And he would not allow anyone to bow down to him. So it was very difficult. That's why his identity would never be disclosed. And then in 1952, then of course he met with an accident in America. At that time, before that, say in 20 years before, he had said that America needs my blood.
America needs my blood.
And I have to shed it. America needs my blood and I have to shed it. And he would go and come back. But in 1952, when he came to America, he met with an accident, severe accident.
This was the accident in Prague, Oklahoma?
Yes, that's right. And this year, there was 50th anniversary of that.
May 24th, 1952.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So then, of course, he went to India, and he would go from place to place. Nobody would know that who he was. But when he went, thousands of people, thousands and thousands of people, 50,000, 60,000, 80,000. And of course, when I saw him from a distance, it is a long story, how could I see him? But when I saw him at a distance, so many people, and when I saw his face smiling, that smile, it was so sweet that apparently he was just smiling, but I did not know that he was throwing arrow towards my heart. And then I was attracted. Anyway, he said that I contacted millions of people and only one fish. I spread the net and only one fish I caught.
And you were the fish?
Yes.
Did he said this to you?
He told others.
Yeah.
And he said to me, but at that time he did not say. After years he said that only one fish I caught. I spread the net, but millions came, but only one fish. So then of course I was with him. I was doing night watch. I was also doing correspondence. I would also write books according to his instructions he would give. And anything I would write, of course, I had to read out to him. When he would approve, then only it would be published. So it went on and on till the end. I joined in 1953 because there were examinations for me. So December 1952 I joined, and 53 April, of course, I was with him since then.
You came and lived with Meher Baba as one of his, it's called Mandali?
Yes.
Mandali means what?
Mandali means those who were very close to him.
It's like his circle of disciples.
Yes.
Now, is that like the apostles of Jesus in his day?
It is like that. It is like that. This time Baba would call them Mandali.
Mandali.
But they were a circle member, any circle. So one thing which happened in Delhi, the capital of India, Baba went there and Baba was giving the Mass Darshan program, and people would come. First day, thousands of people came, and one lady had come. Nobody knew, so he went to the house, and she says to her husband. Next day he came, and thousands of people. He was standing in a queue 3 hours. And when he approached Meher Baba, then Meher Baba gave him one banana and he was pushed away. And he says that how my wife is so illiterate. I stood for this one banana in queue 3 hours in the sun. Had she told me, I would have purchased dozens of bananas for her. So he goes back. Yeah. When he goes back home, wife says, did you see Meher Baba? He says, of course, I saw him. What did he give? He said, this banana, take this. He was very much upset. He said, no, my love demands that you must eat it. So then he had to eat. He ate, and then afterwards, whole night he could not sleep. During daytime also could not. He would feel restless. So he went to a doctor. He said, I feel restless and I don't sleep. Please just examine me. Doctor examined him and gave him sleeping dose. Then of course at bedtime he took the sleeping dose. Hardly 1 hour he could sleep. And again he was restless, day and night continuously. 4 days, after 4 days again, he goes to another doctor. And he says, I don't know what has happened, but I went to that doctor and he gave me this sleeping pill, but I could not sleep. So he gave a stronger dose. And he took it at bedtime, but nothing, he could not sleep, hardly 2 hours. And then he thinks, how it is happening to me. Meher Baba must have mixed something in the banana. He must have mixed. So he wrote a letter to Meher Baba saying that I want to see you, give me some time. So Baba permitted him. So he came along with his wife and 2 other persons. And there are 2 ashrams, Baba's ashram. One is called Meherazad, another is called Meherabad.
Meherazad and Meherabad.
Meherabad. So Meherazad is the resident place of Baba. And Baba would meet the visitors at Meherabad. So he was there at Meherabad, and Baba had sent instruction to the caretaker, just arrange best of food for them, and also comfortable beds. So it was all arranged. Next day Baba went there. Baba embraced everyone. And Baba says, Principal Niranjan Singh, did you sleep last night? And he said, no Baba, I could not sleep. No? Why? What was the problem? Whether food was not good? The food was very delicious. Whether bed was not comfortable? Bed was comfortable. Then why did you not sleep? He says, I have got one problem. I am a scientist, and I cannot believe that infinite God, how is it possible for infinite God to be bottled up in this body? And Baba says, you are a scientist. Your question is really very, very scientific. And I'm not a
That's
scientist.
a question, by the way, that a lot of our viewers may be asking themselves. How could God
be bottled
we always think infinite, terribly
God.
remote.
Infinite means space.
Yeah, how could God be in this body? Yeah.
In this body. So Baba said, your question is very scientific, and I am not a scientist. How could I reply? And then he asked the Mandali members who were sitting there, do you know the answer? They said, no, Baba. He said, this scientist, of course, he asked this question, and I cannot reply. But Principal Niranjan Singh, don't worry. You are a scientist, make some research, and you will find out. Don't worry. And that scientist thought that now Baba would not be able to answer his question. And all of a sudden Baba said, what do you see on the road? Can you see anything? So he looked at the road and he said, yes, Baba, I see the trucks and the buses and also the pedestrians. Oh, you can see? He says, yes. And beyond this route, can you see anything? So he looked out and he saw that, yes, Baba, of course, he says to Baba that farmers are plowing the land. And what else? And the animals are grazing. Baba says, you can see? He says, yes, I can see. And beyond that, can you see anything? So he looked out and he saw that, yes, there is one temple and animals are grazing. How far is the temple from here? So he says, maybe 1 mile. 1 mile. How do you see? With my eyes. How big are your eyes? He said, oh, I got the answer. Baba said, still you are a scientist, you got the answer. But this is not the answer. Mm-hmm. This is the gross world. And this gross world, it is very big. God is infinite. So this his shadow, it is also infinite. So there are so many worlds. You don't know. There are 18,000 worlds where human beings are living. So, and you say that this is the space. In gross world, you find the space, you find the time, and you find the forms. But there is subtle world beyond this gross world, and that subtle world is also in everyone. Because God is in everyone, so the subtle world is also in everyone. And Baba says, subtle world, it holds the gross world. How big it must be? And scientist says that it must be bigger than this. Baba says, you are a scientist and you say bigger. Space, you just think of in terms of space. How it can be bigger than that? If I put one pinpoint here, whether it is gross or subtle. So he says, it is gross. Baba says, so you cannot imagine the gross world, subtle world. Because in gross world you find the space, you find the time. But subtle world is that world where it engulfs the conscious, the space, time and forms. It deals with energy only. And that's why subtle world, it is so small that you cannot imagine through gross consciousness.
So that time and space only exist in the gross world.
Gross world.
The subtle world is beyond.
This, just like now we see atom bomb and hydrogen bomb, very powerful. But it is just nothing. It is the shadow of the gross, of the subtle world. So there is no space. Space is just engulfed. So when we have this gross experience and when we experience the subtle world, so this space is engulfed. We don't have the space because we experience, at that time we experience the energy. And then beyond is mental world. Is still so subtle that even through subtle consciousness you cannot imagine. And beyond that is infinite consciousness. Now we have gross consciousness, and this gross consciousness, that means we are creating the space.
Mm. So we create.
We create.
What we see, the space, the forms,
yes, yes.
time.
So the space we experience. But when we experience the subtle world, then of course there is no space. Mental world only deals with the thoughts and desires. And beyond that is infinite consciousness. But infinite consciousness, God. God holds mental world, subtle world, and this gross world. So how can you imagine through? You have to experience that.
So how does one experience this subtle, the mental, and you said infinite God?
Through
Is
love,
that possible?
Only through love for God.
Love for God.
Yes. And for this age, Baba has given importance to obedience, because love is also the grace of God. So grace of God.
So grace of God. So it takes, God must give us love?
Yes. But for that obedience, so master, just like avatar and a perfect master. Avatar is the word, avatar, Christ or prophet. So they come age after age, come down on earth age after age.
So for people today who want to be closer to God, who want to live a life that would be pleasing to God, who would want to love God, what advice would you give them?
Only thing that Baba has given, expressed his wish. We must.
That this is in this book here, I believe.
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
Shall I read it?
Read out.
Okay. My wish. This is Meher Baba. The lover has to keep the wish of the beloved. My wish for my lovers is as follows. Do not shirk your responsibilities. That's number one. Number two, attend faithfully to your worldly duties, but keep always at the back of your mind that all this is Baba's. Number three, when you feel happy, think Baba wants me to be happy. When you suffer, think Baba wants me to suffer. 4, be resigned to every situation and think honestly and sincerely, Baba has placed me in this situation. 5, with the understanding that Baba is in everyone, try to help and serve others. 6, I say with my divine authority to each and all that whosoever takes my name at the time of breathing his last comes to me. So do not forget to remember me in your last moments. Unless you start remembering me from now on, it will be difficult to remember me when your end approaches. You should start practicing from now on. Even if you take my name only once every day, you will not forget to remember me in your dying moments.
So this wish Baba expressed and follow, because this is sophisticated age. And sophisticated age, and no one has any time. With the people should just renounce the world, go to the mountain. Not possible. Everyone has to work. There is no time.
Now, these things seem very practical.
Very
that
practical.
He's asking
Yes.
people to do.
And not only this, but he's working for that, creating that awareness, so that we may be able to follow his wish. Baba has said that it takes 100 years after he drops his body for his universal manifestation. And when universal manifestation will take place, of course the awareness will be there and people will follow. But till then, there will be lot of difficulties, lot of things would happen, because he has said that the illusion will go to the extreme, and then spirituality will also be manifested in extreme.
So he says, don't worry, be happy. That sounds like a very important message, and it seems connected.
It is very, very, very important, very important. But when you face difficulties...
I think our time is just about over.
Yeah.
There will be a part 2 to this program, so we will continue this fascinating discussion with our very special guest, Bhau Kalchuri from Ahmednagar, India, one of Meher Baba's very closest disciples for 50 years. And I really want to thank you very much today, Bhau, for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Meher Baba program. I'm your host, Sam Irvin, and with me today for part 2 of our program is Bhau Kalchuri, who for 50 years was one of Avatar Meher Baba's closest disciples. And we're really pleased and fortunate to have Mr. Kalchuri here with us. He's coming all the way from Ahmednagar, India. I introduced him on part 1 in great detail. So I think the fact that he was one of Baba's Mandali and lived with him, was the night watchman, wrote many books. We'll just leave it at that for this time and ask you some questions about what it was like. And I'd like to start, Bhau, by asking you, what was it like to live with this person who said that he was the God-man, the avatar, God in human form? It must have been, I think people would be afraid almost to go into the presence of someone like that. They might know everything you're thinking, know everything about you that you don't want anybody to know. I mean, how would that feel to actually live with him on a day-to-day basis?
Actually, it was a joy, but joy cannot be expressed. There is also suffering behind it. So, the more and more you suffer, the more and more joy you would just feel.
The more you suffer, the more joy
Yes.
you would feel.
And sometimes when there is no suffering, we would just, he would just tease, he would do different things. And sometimes when he would stop, we would just feel that why he has stopped. When he would tease at that time, of course, that we would not like, and tease before others. When new people would come before them, of course he would do that. So we would not like
He
that.
would tease you. Would the other people know that he was just teasing, or would they take it seriously?
No, they would not. He would praise them. But those who were with him, he would tease. And of course that we would not like. But when he would stop teasing, that too we would not like. It is just like itching. When you get the itching, so you scratch. Mm-hmm. And when you scratch, of course, the pain is there, but you enjoy that. You enjoy that. So it is very, very difficult. Of course, when dedication comes, you just live for him. You don't want anything of the world. Nothing gives you enjoyment. As the suffering, she will give.
So the suffering from him is better than all the joys of the world.
Yes. But that is internal. Mm-hmm. So that is everyone would like that. Everyone means those who were with him. I just give one example that there was one Mehra. Mehra, he would say that she is like my Radha. That means just like Adam and Eve. So he was playing the part of Eve. and there were other women Mandi. And one night I was keeping watch, and he says to me at 2:00 in the morning, "Give me soda water." So this was the sign of, because he was observing silence. He would not talk.
He was silent for over 43 years, right?
44 years. So he would not talk. So he just made the sign, soda water. So I went and opened the soda water bottle, but it cracked and one piece of glass fell down. And my Baba says that he was very, very unhappy with me. And he said that I wanted to call women Mandali, and how should I call now?
The women Mandali are the women disciples.
Our disciples.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to call them, but how would I call? Now the pieces of glass are there. Clean it. So I was cleaning and cleaning. 2 hours. From this side, from that side, all over the room. 2 hours he was sitting, and so many times I cleaned. And then afterwards he said to me, "And under the bed." When he said under the bed, a thought came in my mind that women Mandali would come, they would put on shoes, and they would come. They would not go under the bed. And here I am barefooted, and Baba says that under the bed. So, of course, he has no love for me, only for the women Mandali. And as soon as the thought came, Baba says, "What are you thinking?" So through his gestures, I said, "Nothing, Baba." And he says to me that nothing. "Do you know that I love women Mandali more than you? I am the ocean. And in the ocean, there are innumerable bubbles. So bubbles, of course, if bubbles see only the bubbles, then distance is there. But when you see the ocean, where is the distance? So because you see the distance, you just think about the bubbles. They are all bubbles, and that's why you find the distance. But for me, I am the ocean. So every bubble is in the same distance from me. There is no distance at all. All the bubbles are in the ocean. Where is the question of bubbles? But where is the question of distance? Only thing that you see the bubbles and not the ocean.
So he's conscious of being the ocean.
Oh yes, of course.
Of consciousness, and
not
is
only
saying that
conscious,
we're only aware of being bubbles.
But active. Avatar is the one. Christ is the one. Of course, he's always conscious, and conscious means active also. Active. Nobody understands why people go to the church and they worship Holy Ghost. Oh, Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit, why? Why Holy Spirit? Who is Holy Spirit? Means the same one is active. And that's why he is called Holy Spirit. So he is the one who is in charge of creation. And creation, when it takes place, the drops from the ocean, they come out. But each drop contains the ocean.
So the Holy Spirit is an aspect of God.
Yes.
Not separate from God.
Not separate from God. It is. He remains active. He remains active, and that's why active. So he has to take care of the creation. He is responsible, and that's why creation, from just like 7 kingdoms of evolution of consciousness: stone, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, animal, and then last form is human form. And after this human form, you experience this gross world. And it takes a long time. Then, of course, your consciousness turns inward and you lose your gross consciousness. And then, of course, you experience subtle consciousness. There is energy. Energy, each one has infinite power of God, because we don't have the experience, and that's why we don't experience that. So energy, there are 4 planes in subtle world.
4 planes in the subtle world.
Subtle world. So 4 planes, then of course no consciousness of the gross. And gross world, of course, you don't experience, only energy you experience. Different experiences are there. And different experience, when you are on 4th plane, a thought comes, the world should be destroyed. Just a thought and it is done. So much energy we have got, but we have to experience.
And that's latent in everyone.
Everyone has that. And beyond that is mental plane. Mental plane, then you become the master of thoughts. You can control the thoughts, you can create new thoughts. And then of course 6th plane, that is the energy. That is the feeling. You can create any feeling in anyone towards God. And then 7th is one with God.
So the 6th plane, is that where great saints would be?
Yes, saints means real saint on 6th plane.
Real saints,
Real.
not because they're called saints by a religious
real
institution.
one.
Yeah.
And number is also fixed.
And then 7th is?
7th is God.
And that's where Meher Baba said he was, 7th plane?
Yes, of course.
God realized, of course.
But realized, but always conscious. Even after dropping the body, he is conscious. Holy Spirit. That is called Holy Spirit.
And that's because he's the avatar, right?
Yes.
And
he is in charge of the creation. So there are 56 God-realized persons. Always 56. Out of these 56, so they have only consciousness of God, but no consciousness of the creation. Creation does not exist. It is all illusory. So they have consciousness of God, but out of these 56, there are always 5 perfect masters. So 5 perfect masters, they have got God consciousness and also creation consciousness. So they can work for the creation. If one God realizes, of course, that creation does not exist for him, so he cannot work. But avatar is the one who is always responsible, because he is the one who has created all this. So he remains in the form of Holy Spirit. But there are 2 things, divine will and divine wish. So divine will, everything happens according to divine will. Good, bad, whatever is there, it happens according to divine will. And why he comes down age after age, every age, why? Because the situation changes. Situation of the world changes. So according to that, he expresses his divine wish. And through divine wish, you can work out divine will. Otherwise, everyone is just, whatever he does, yes, it is according to divine will.
So in divine will, or in God's plan, why is it necessary, or is it necessary, for the world to experience these terrible happenings like 9/11, worldwide terrorism,
Yes.
War, Pakistan, India, the Middle East, Vietnam,
Baba
all these
has
terrible
said,
things that happen to
Baba
people.
has said that illusion will reach the extreme, and then his manifestation will take place, and the spirituality will also be manifested extremely, to the extreme. So this is just like a dream. We are seeing the dream, and we are thinking that this is the truth. This is not the truth. Whatever we are experiencing, this is nothing but illusion. So there is.
So this is illusion.
Illusion.
Whether good or bad.
Bad. Good, bad, anything, of course, it is under illusion. When you know yourself, your real self, then only you know that this is just nothing. So It goes on. And Baba, of course, he is not concerned with any religion or this or that. Everyone, of course, belongs to him. Every religion belongs to him.
On religion, Meher Baba has a quote. He says, "I belong to no religion. Every religion belongs to me.
Yes.
My personal religion is my being the ancient infinite one, and the religion I impart to all is love for God, which is the truth of all religions."
Yes.
Did you see that put into action when you were with Meher Baba?
Of course. He did not, of course, have any distinction for religion. He has said that he will bring all the religions just like beads in one string. One string there. Then
Like beads on one string.
Yes. And then again he said that when any religion is formed, then what happens? It serves as a river to meet the ocean. But what has happened now, the time has come when all the rivers are dry. All the rivers are dry. So what is his mission? Baba says, I will flood the rivers. And when rivers are flooded, then you do not make any distinction, nothing. You just flow towards the ocean. So that time will come. When his universal manifestation will take place, that time will come.
Did Meher Baba ask his followers to give up their religion? Did he form a religion himself?
He never asked about this. Only thing I just say that with Meher Baba, people of all religions were there. So those who were very close to Baba, they were also with him. And now what happens, once Baba started taking favor of the Hindu religion. And
he seemed to be favoring the Hindus?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And there are many festivals in Hindus. Krishna's birthday and Ram's birthday and Hanuman's birthday, so many Shivaji's birthday. So it would go on and Baba would take interest and big decoration and big feast and everything and singing everything. There were Iranis, Parsis, Christians, and they were just Muslims. They were thinking that Baba, of course, has favor for Hindu religion, and he does not care for us. Our religion is also there. So one night, of course, when there was Krishna's birthday, and Hindus were very busy in decorating and making arrangement. Next day, Baba came in the mandi, and Baba says that, did you sleep last night? So one, of course, Muslim says that, no, I could not. Why? How you must be helping these people, Hindu, who is arranging for Krishna's birthday. No. Then why did you not sleep? He said that we were just thinking, we were having a meeting that we must draw your attention so that our religion should also be celebrated. Baba says, good, that you were doing this and you drew my attention. These people, Hindus, they were just interested in celebrating their festivals. So I was giving them all these rituals. All these rituals, celebrate. And I was just thinking that you are interested in God. So I wanted to give you God. But now I have come to know you are also interested in all these rituals and ceremonies. So I will give you. No, Baba, we want God. We want. Hindus also came forward. No, we don't want anything. We want God.
So then, is Meher Baba saying that God, if people are interested in rituals and ceremonies, that that's what God will give them, and if they're interested in God, they can have God?
Yes.
Is that true?
But for that purpose, love should be there.
Oh, but love must be there.
Anything, the rituals are there. But when love is not there, it becomes a ritual. Mm-hmm. But if the same thing, if you love God, then of course you just forget outward things. It comes from your heart. Otherwise, it becomes the ritual ceremonies. Just you are interested in outer things. Love, it is just internal matter. It does not require any ceremony, any ritual, nothing.
And Meher Baba does not require people to give up their religion.
No, nothing.
If they do want to practice with love, with that heart.
That outwardly, if they live what is there is nothing. But when love, he creates love. And when love is there, you don't know, then you don't think about the importance of rituals and ceremony. The same thing you do with love.
Wonderful. I'll read this short quote on the same topic. Meher Baba, I am equally approachable to one and all, big and small, to saints who rise and sinners who fall, through all the various paths that give the divine call. I am approachable alike to saint whom I adore, and to sinner whom I am for, and equally through Sufism, Vedantism, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, other isms of any kind, and also directly through no medium of isms at all.
It is such an important message Baba has given, that isms are there, but when you really follow, when you have love for God, then ism does not stay there. You forget the ism.
So you focus on God, and the isms don't have much room.
No room. Yes.
Yes.
Only love is required, and love makes no distinction. So long we are in illusion and we just follow the religion, what has happened that the religion has, I said that the river is now dry. So dry, how will you proceed further? Mm-hmm. So he has said that my mission is to flood the rivers. And rivers are flooded, then there is no question of thinking. You just flow.
Now, are there many Meher Baba followers in the world? What's the? Is it developing? Is it growing?
It is growing because his work is going on. It is not that just like now, Lord Jesus, he was crucified, and how is it that after 200 years, the world accepted him? Mm-hmm. All Western countries and Eastern countries. How? The Lord himself was active, he was working. Not that his followers told people about this and they followed. When the Lord was there himself and he was telling, but no effect. So no effect after he was crucified. Then after 100, 200 years, what do you see? That the world, Western countries, all the Western countries, and some in this Eastern countries, some in that Eastern countries, everywhere. So how did it have? Who worked for that? It is not that his disciples, they were also crucified. So it is he who was working. And he remains always active. But what happens because of the force of illusion? That force of illusion, so illusion becomes very, very active afterwards. So then he has to come back again, and of course he wipes out all this ignorance, all the bindings, impressions which we collect. So he wipes out those obstructive impressions, then we get the awareness and we follow. So that's why his wish changes age after age. Whatever Muhammad has said, whatever Jesus has said, this is now different age.
So Meher Baba said that he was the same as
Same one,
Muhammad, as
yes.
Jesus, as
Ram,
Buddha,
Krishna, Buddha.
Ram, Krishna, Buddha,
Yes.
Zoroaster.
Zoroaster.
That these were avatars who give a great spiritual push to the whole universe, and that he is the same one come back again.
Only he, the ancient one, can give universal push. Now, universal push, what is universal push? Universal push, it is not that only human beings, but right from stone, vegetable, worm, fish, bird.
So
anyone.
when that consciousness is developing in the stone
consciousness,
state,
and this
those other
consciousness,
states
of course, more or less up to
evolving.
animal kingdom, it is more or less natural. Natural process goes on. But then human beings exploit the lower kingdoms. How? Different, this breeding, cross breeding, cloning, all this sort of things are going on.
yes, they are.
So
And there will be more of it, it looks like.
So what happens that consciousness of natural process becomes unnatural. And that's why he has to come down in order to make it natural. And natural means whatever we do, whatever we think, of course we create impressions. So those impressions are there. So he just wipes out those impressions and then natural process begins.
So is that the same idea as taking on the burdens, or in a sense the sins, although I don't think he uses the word the same way that a
Yes,
Christian
sins,
would. But he takes those on for
Yes.
humanity
Yes.
and wipes that out
Yes.
to reduce
He
the
takes
burden
upon that.
on
That's why he
all of
comes
us.
down just to suffer. Suffer and suffer. And in America, of course, second accident took place here. First accident. Second, of course, in India. At that time, he was suffering. And suffering means it is not that one meets with an accident and that he has said that I have to shed my blood in America because America needs my blood. So blood, outwardly it appears that accident took place, but inwardly he took upon the burden. He took upon the burden. How many visits he has paid to America? How
Many visits to America.
Yes, all the time he would come and he would like meet people here. Now you just see that in comparison to other countries, more Baba lovers are there.
Many followers are, and it's a growing group in the United States.
Then what happens that people had asked him that, Baba, how many followers you have? One press reporter, he had asked. So he said, can you count your hair? Can you count your hair? No. So how can I say that how many?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yes.
And also, as you say, that if this man is the avatar, then those followers will be coming. We're about out of time, so what I'd like to do is to read a phone number for those who would like more information about Avatar Meher Baba at the Avatar Meher Baba Center of Southern California. The phone number is 323-731-3737. And I'd also like to say a very special thank you to Bhau Kalchuri, close disciple of Avatar Meher Baba, for joining us today on the Avatar Meher Baba program. And I'm your host, Sam Irvin, and thank you very much.
It is my pleasure